Let me start by saying something simple. Just put the phone down. Everybody knows it, some people just don't want to say it out loud, but deep down, we all feel it. There's something about the way we live now that feels different. Not necessarily worse in every way, not necessarily evil, but different. Faster, louder, more constant. And if you sit with it long enough, you realize that this little device in our pocket has quietly reshaped the way we think, feel, and experience life. And I don't say that with anger. I say it with reflection, because I use it too. This isn't about blaming technology, it's about becoming aware of it. The phone was created to connect us, to make communication easier, to give us access to information, and in many ways, it has done exactly that. It has connected people across the world, built businesses, created opportunities that didn't exist before, and given voices to people who might have never been heard. That part is beautiful, but somewhere along the way, something shifted. The tool didn't change. We did. We started reaching for it in moments of silence, in moments of boredom, in moments of discomfort, in moments of loneliness. And slowly, it became more than a tool. It became a reflex. We wake up and check it. We go to sleep with it. We scroll while eating. We scroll in the bathroom. We scroll while watching something else. We are rarely just present anymore. And I think that's what feels different. It's not that screens are inherently evil, it's that constant stimulation changes us. Our brains were not designed for endless input. They were designed for rhythm, for quiet moments, for pauses, for stillness. But now, there is no stillness. There is always another video, another post, another headline, another opinion, another notification. And because of that, the real world sometimes feels slower, less exciting, less intense. And that's where things get tricky. The real world doesn't compete well with infinite stimulation. A tree doesn't autoplay, a conversation doesn't refresh itself, nature doesn't send notifications. But it's real. And sometimes I wonder if we've quietly trained ourselves to prefer the artificial over the authentic because it's easier. Scrolling is easy. Engaging in real life takes effort. Scrolling doesn't require vulnerability. Real conversations do. Scrolling doesn't require patience. Real growth does. Over time, our attention span changes. We become used to short bursts of content, quick dopamine hits, rapid transitions, 3-second videos, instant gratification. Then when something requires focus, reading a book, building a skill, having a deep conversation, it feels harder than it used to. Not because we're incapable, but because we're overstimulated. And I don't think many people talk about that enough. It's not just about time wasted, it's about mental environment. The content we consume affects our emotions. If we constantly consume negativity, drama, comparison, outrage, or fear, it starts shaping how we see the world. Social media amplifies emotion because emotion keeps people engaged. The posts that trigger you get more attention. The headlines that scare you get more clicks. The comparisons that make you insecure keep you scrolling longer. It's not always intentional harm, but the system rewards intensity, and intensity isn't always healthy. Sometimes we tell ourselves we're just staying informed, learning, staying connected, and sometimes that's true. There is valuable content out there. There are creators who genuinely help people grow. But if we're honest, a lot of our time isn't spent intentionally. It's spent passively. We open the app for one reason, and minutes later, we're still there. And it's not just about productivity, it's about presence. When was the last time you sat in silence without reaching for something to fill it? When was the last time you felt bored and stayed bored long enough for your mind to create something new? Boredom used to be uncomfortable, but boredom also used to be fertile ground for imagination. Now we eliminate it instantly, and maybe that's why creativity sometimes feels harder. There's another layer too, comparison. Social media shows highlights, not reality. We see achievements, not the struggle behind them. We see success, not the years of effort. We see polished moments, not the process. And without realizing it, we compare our beginning to someone else's middle. That comparison can quietly affect confidence. You start thinking you're behind. You start thinking you're not doing enough. You start thinking everyone else is moving faster. But the truth is, most people are just showing their best angles, and when you're constantly exposed to that, it can distort perception. Not because you're weak, but because your brain adapts to what it sees most. Another thing is how much people want to be seen and heard. It's human nature. We all want to matter. We all want to feel understood. We all want to know our voice has value. That desire isn't wrong, it's deeply human. Social media gave billions of people a microphone, and that's powerful, but it also created an environment where visibility feels like validation. Likes feel like worth. Views feel like importance. Engagement feels like identity. And when those numbers go up and down, emotions follow. But your value doesn't change based on metrics. Still, it's easy to forget that because attention can become addictive. The notifications, the urge to check, the fear of missing something, the need to stay updated, it becomes a habit before it becomes a decision. And habits shape days, days shape years, years shape lives. This is why awareness matters. Not guilt, not shame, awareness. Because when you become aware, you regain choice. You can decide when to use it instead of it deciding for you. You can set boundaries. You can choose offline moments. You can choose to put it down without fear. You can choose silence. You can choose to go outside, feel sunlight, hear the birds, and exist without documenting it. You can choose to create instead of only consume. And creation feels different. When you build something, a skill, a project, music, writing, fitness, relationships, you feel progress. Scrolling rarely gives that feeling. It entertains, yes, but it doesn't always fulfill. The moments that bring real peace are usually quiet ones. Working on something meaningful, having real conversations, being in nature, focusing deeply. Those moments don't always look impressive online, but internally they feel grounding. And maybe that's what many of us are missing, grounding. Not escape, grounding. Technology isn't the enemy, but if we don't intentionally disconnect sometimes, we lose connection with ourselves. And when that happens, we feel restless without knowing why. Sometimes the solution isn't complicated. Sometimes it's simply stepping away. The world existed long before screens and will continue long after. The birds will still sing. The trees will still grow. Life will continue. So maybe this isn't about rejecting technology. Maybe it's about remembering balance, using it intentionally, consuming consciously, creating more than we scroll, living more than we observe, and not taking everything personally online, because many people projecting negativity are dealing with their own pain. You can observe without absorbing. That's growth. At the end of the day, this is reflection, not perfection. Awareness is the first step toward control. And if this resonates with you even a little, maybe that's enough. Maybe the goal isn't to delete everything. Maybe it's just to put the phone down more often, to reconnect with real life, to remember what silence feels like, to remember what focus feels like, to remember what it feels like to be fully present. Because there is more to life than screens. There always has been, and there always will be. So take care of yourself. Be conscious of what you consume, protect your attention, and don't forget to live your life outside of the feed. The world is still beautiful. You just have to look up to see it.